we keep everybody on the Facebook page, so students past and present, you know,
Yes.
everybody's on there. So it's really nice that people who've had a business for a couple of years can share their tips with perhaps the people that are starting out.
Yeah, that's right.
Feel supported, yeah, and Zoe, as soon as I email her, she emails me back, and I'm like, you really do feel supported. I know it's online, but you really do feel like you've got somebody there at the other end of the phone.
In the last 3 months has it been interning, yeah, I've been to an awards ceremony with her, I've helped her set up weddings, we've been to networking, and yeah, it's just been incredible, even in just such a short time.
Completely, every single element of the course, even things that I thought I knew, I didn't actually know, because it goes into things such as lighting, you know, the whole section on.
And that's
things
so
and
important.
it's so important, and things that I never, you know, would have even considered.
Welcome back to our series of interviews with Academy students. Next up in the hot seat is Nina Beer. Welcome, Nina. Thank you for being here and chatting to us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Now, you're studying the Diploma of Wedding and Event Planning, aren't you? Yes. So tell me a little bit about yourself and why you chose that course in particular.
So I've been in the events world for about 12 years now in one form or another. I've always worked in events and absolutely love it. And if I kind of known what I know now back when I was choosing my degree, I probably would have done something in event management rather than film and TV. So I decided that I would really like some academic credibility to back up my experience, which is why I chose the Wedding and Event Planning Diploma.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely loving it so far. I find it a really positive experience as well. And I'm at very early stages, but no, it's really great.
Good. So you have a degree in film and TV. Has that sort of given you anything to sort of help within events and that side of things? Because it's a different field, but it's kind of similar.
I think with the film and TV, you're very much about the semantics of a film and looking at meanings behind things and making something very creative.
Right.
So I think in that way, yes, you've got that creative element. You're looking at things a bit more deeply than you would normally just watching a film. So yeah, maybe in that aspect it probably did.
Okay, but you didn't do that. You went into the events industry. Okay, so have you worked for other people as an events coordinator, events planner? Is that what you were doing?
That's exactly what I've done. So I started off as event coordinator. I've kind of touched base with all different parts of events world, including the sales, running my own events in corporate. I worked in national charities as well, running events on the fundraising side. So yeah, I've kind of done a lot of different events in a lot of different arenas.
So that's given you a really, really good broad spectrum to look at across all of the different events that are available for you to run. But obviously our courses are certainly, we come in at that very basic level. So it'll be interesting to know how you've coped with that, because some of the stuff that we'll have been talking about, especially in the first few units, will be stuff I would imagine you already know. Yeah. So that would be hard.
It is quite funny actually. So like I said, I've just started, and as soon as I read assignment 1, I thought, right, I really need to think back to when I just left uni and I was running corporate events and trying to work out, and I was like, do I still have this stuff on my computer? Like looking back at all these things. So yeah, it's taken me back, definitely.
Good, and it's probably making you reevaluate things as well.
Absolutely.
Because it's like anything, isn't it? When you know it really well and it's old hat, you sometimes forget some of those fundamental things. I know I do. So one thing I'd ask you for then, you haven't studied for a long time. So going back to study is never easy. No. Do you have any tips for study?
Definitely make sure that you have the time to set aside to do it, and be really strict with yourself, which is something that I need to listen to my own advice. Be really strict, schedule it into your diary and make sure that you have the time to do it.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice, because it can just, one week can slip past and then another and then another, and you keep putting it off. I do the same with my accounts. If I can put it off, I will. And I always say I'm going to put it into my schedule and just hit snooze every time it comes up. So yeah, no, I agree. So obviously you're working within a virtual campus, which would be very different to when you did your degree. How are you finding the fact that it's all online and everything we do is virtual?
I really enjoy it actually. Not only does it mean that I can kind of dip in and out when I want to, but it also means that I can keep track of where I am. And if I had that period of where it's kind of gone a bit quiet, I can go back and have a look at the things that I've already gone through and relearn and refresh it.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously one of the things that we sell as a benefit of the fact that it's online. If you get busy, it's still there for you to come back to. It can be quite rigid having to go to class a certain time every day, every week, or whenever it might be. So that's certainly one of the benefits. So what actually inspired you in the first place to leave a career in film and TV and come into the events industry?
I love organising.
Okay.
And I'm pretty good at it.
You're a planner.
So I go for it, yeah.
Why not?
And it kind of started when I was at university. I went straight into the student bar and started organising events. So
as you do.
Yeah. And I was spending more time doing that than I was on my degree. So that kind of just felt like a natural progression for me. I gained the experience I needed at university and then was able to lead that on as my career.
That's really good, the fact that you also recognised that you weren't happy doing what you were doing, you could make a change, and off you went. Now, you already have your own business, don't you?
I do, yes.
Tell me about that.
So I started Occasion Queens earlier this year, and Occasion Queens is slightly different to most wedding planning services in that we don't plan weddings.
So
what do we do? We do on-the-day setup and coordination. So what we specialise, so we specialise in helping brides or anyone that's planning any event with on-the-day execution. What we're finding now is that there's so many kind of DIY brides, people are planning extravagant birthday parties that actually on the day, all of their hard work needs to come together, and they don't want to have the stress of doing it. They don't want to be relying on their friends and family. They don't want the groom putting fairy lights up first thing in the morning. So we come in right at the very end and allow them to execute their vision without any of that stress.
And so you've taken a conscious decision to literally just do that on the day coordination, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, that's really popular over in the States. There's some very big companies who do just that and that only. But it's never about just on the day, is it? At the end of the day, it is actually about 6 to 8 weeks prior, isn't it? Do you want to just, for people that don't understand what that concept is, do you just want to tell us a little bit more about how far in advance you actually have to work with them? Because you can't just rock up on the day and take over, unfortunately.
That'd be nice. So what we do is our packages always start with an inspiration session. So we straight away, as soon as the couples have booked, we'll meet with them, or whoever it is that's organising the event, we'll meet with them and we'll get to know them as a person, and we'll help them plant those seeds and get those stepping stones to help them with their planning process. So we'll bring to the board different ideas that we've come across with different events. We'll kind of lead them down different avenues if we think they're not going right down the right path for the venue that they're at. Kind of help them just mould and shape the event that they're going to be doing. Then we step back and lead them to it. We're kind of in the background if they've got any stumbling blocks, they need a specific supplier for something, we'll recommend people, no problem. But we'll kind of lead them to it at that point. Then as it starts creeping up to nearer the day, we'll come back in. And they start kind of giving us a bit more kind of, oh, what do we do about this? And the pressure starts to build, the stress starts to build, and that's where we start to take over. We'll help them with their timetable, we'll help them with their supplier coordination, we'll help them with their venue, whatever it is we can do at that point, we'll come in and help them. We'll then have a big meeting beforehand, go through absolutely everything with them about how they want it all to look. They usually present us with a really detailed Word document that we can kind of run through with pictures, how they want their favours to look, how they want their napkins to go, where they want their menu cards, whatever it is. And then they kind of leave us to it. We come in on the day and
off you go. Yeah. Well, you certainly sound as though you really have got everything under control. You've got a business that's obviously working really well, and sort of the final icing on the cake is being accredited and actually finishing your course, and as I say, being an accredited planner, so you can pop that on your website and it gives you those credentials that you really need. Well, I'm excited to see how you go. Obviously it's still in the early stages for your business, so we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll do another interview with you maybe in a year or so and see if you've expanded your services, or you're still doing the same thing, or you know, whether or not things have changed for you. So thank you for joining us, and it's been lovely to talk to you.